Hello and howdy. Here is a video analysis done by Mike Finn. First one ever, and I do mean ever. This is my good buddy, Tanner, fellow student doctor, soon-to-be greatest chiropractor in the world. We're going to take a look at this young man's running stride, try and see if we can't pick out anything that needs some work as he goes forward into the world of running. Just began in this sport, trying to prevent injury, increase endurance, maximize fun, all that wonderful stuff. We're going to go through a couple standard run angles here, try and look at the different ways that we can increase all those things we just talked about, as well as decrease possibility of injury. So we're going to jump right into it. Just a nice little slow motion overview of the run. There we go. As you can see, we're on a treadmill here, which isn't really fair to a true running form, but it gives us a general idea of what we're looking at. Tanner's got a nice up and down motion going here. I want to try and decrease that as time goes forward, but not too bad. So we're going to pause it right here. And we're going to take a look at our first angle, which is back extension of the leg. Back extension of the leg takes place as the thigh behind the body from vertical at full recovery extension position. So we'll pick on the left leg here. Full extension and recovery. Recovery is once you've left the ground. So right there. We're going to use a nice blue color here. Blue is nice and happy. So from the vertical, we're going to drive from the hip to the ground, hip to the knee, and we want that to be greater than 20 degrees. Strong. That's good. So we're at 21. Now, Tanner's tired here. This is minute 9.5 through 10.5 of a 10.5 minute run. I did this on purpose. I want to see him when he was a little fatigued. Form begins to fall very quickly as runners get tired, and we spend more time running tired than we do running fresh. So tired running form is the form we want to correct. 21 degrees, I would postulate that somewhere around minute 30, minute 40, this is probably going to decrease as the muscles get tired and we get lazy. It happens to good 99% of runners. The other 1%, they're on TV in the Olympics, so we're trying to run like them. So we're going to pair Tanner to them in future videos. But as of right now, 21 degree back extension, that's good. Tanner, focus on this as you go forward. This is done by quad flexibility, hip flexor flexibility. Make sure you're able to bring your leg back. Glute strength, hamstring strength, we want to make sure you can kick your leg back as well. Going from there, we're going to look at your forward body lean. That's how far forward your body is leaning. It's not just a clever name. From the vertical, we go straight up, then we go from the hip through the ear. We want that to be greater than 6 degrees. We're at 10. That's very good. Too little vertical lean, and now we're running up and down. We're running like a marionette doll, where we're bobbing up and down as opposed to smoothly striding forward. So we want to maintain that lean. It comes from the hip, not the stomach. If you begin bending at the stomach, now you're like a spring where your head is bobbing with every run. So this is a good angle. Really proper. I like where your head is, pun intended. Keep this in mind, as all these, if we find an angle, which we will, that is not correct, all these angles will have to be adjusted accordingly as we correct the other angle. They're all connected. Unfortunately, that's not individual puzzle pieces you can just replace, and everything else has remained the same. So we want to try and keep these as we go forward. From here, we're going to look at your knee drive. Knee drive is how far your knee is lifted off the ground compared to the vertical in the front. This right here is your hip flexor snappiness in the fun runner speak world. We want to see how quick do you, right here, how quick do you snap your knee flexors and pull your knee up in front of you. This should be greater than 45 degrees, and we're going to give you as much benefit as we can, and we're going to go right there. So this should be greater than 45 degrees. We're going to take this to vertical, and now we're going to take this, and we're at 38. And this is the third time I've analyzed Tanner's run. I'm still learning this program, as well as I fumbled my way through a couple explanations. And this is the best knee drive angle I have found. The other ones were 35 and 30 degrees. So Tanner, we got some work to do on your knee drive here, man. Basically, this is how quick you pull your knee up to the front in order to prepare your body for the next stride. What this means is you're firing your iliopsoas as opposed to letting your leg swing through the gait phase and then just land where it lands. This is going to be the major thing we work on. We got to get your knee flexors stronger. We got to get you popping out of the recovery and into the stride. So this is the major fault that we found in your stride. This is going to do a number of things. One, it's going to put a really big strain on your forward lean, because if you pull your knee up, it's going to make you want to lean back. You can't lean back because that makes you run up and down and bob like a doll. Can't be doing that. Causes increased shock as you go up the chain. You also can't be doing that because then it puts extra strain on your back extension. So we got to make sure we're firing the knee flexor. Got to make sure you're now flexible in the quads, because you're not going to have a greater distance between your front knee and your back knee. So to maintain your back extension, you got to be flexible all throughout. Maintain a tight core to make sure your body doesn't go up. Your knee drive here is going to increase your stride length as well as your stride cadence. Both of those things are very necessary for the endurance runner. We'll get into that in a little bit here at the end of this video. So, knee drive, number one thing we're going to work on going forward. You'll see now how all angles from here are affected by this knee drive. So, moving on, let's see. We got your knee compression. Knee extension. Knee extension is taken at the maximum point of knee extension right before you hit the ground in the front. So, yeah, we'll go forward here a couple strides. Try not to pick on you there too much. We'll give you this one right here. So maximum knee extension. Boom. There we go. So we want this to be less than 165 degrees. Here to the knee to the ankle. So we got 170. Your knee, you're basically what it's saying is your leg is too straight. We need you to have just a little more bend in the knee. This reduces impact at the ankle, knee, and hip, and then it's going to cause less impact as we go up the chain. To be honest, this is the worst angle I've found. You had pretty good angles all throughout. I might just be picking on you on this one. Let's see what happens as we go forward here. That's what we had on that one. We're going to look at knee extension right there. Yeah, it's about the same. The point is less than 165. If you were at 160, if you're at 165, that's not bad. But we want you to be, there you go. That one's a little better. But we really want you less than 165, not at 165. So 150, 155, and so forth. We're going to take 170 in this case, and we're going to use that to then compare it to knee compression, which is the maximum bend you get in your knee when your knee is under you, essentially catching your body from falling. So from this angle, we take it from there to your, nope, stop that. To your knee to your foot. That program kept pulling that over, so we're going to give that a little bit. Let's just clear it all off. There we go. You're at 170. There you go. 170 minus 127 is 33. 33 degrees, we want that to be less than 25. This is about on with all the other times I've looked at this. That means that your leg is too straight in the front and then it's too bendy underneath. All that means is you have too much up and down motion going on. We have too much vertical. We have a too great vertical component to your stride. We need less vertical, more horizontal. We're trying to run from A to B. In order to do that, we want all your momentum going forward. We don't want any moment. We want as little momentum as possible going up and down and left and right. Any momentum we have going in those other vectors means you have to work harder to maintain your forward motion. So knee extension, knee compression, those are simply done by strengthening your muscles. You got to strengthen your quads, your hams, your calves, as well as your feet extensors, foot extensors, and flexors. Strengthening those muscles allows you to catch your body faster as well as spring off quicker. Two things that are simply done in the weight room, as well as a conscious effort to maintain your form as you're running through it. Last thing we're going to look at here before, I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes, before we run out of time, we'll get out of slow-mo, is your elbow angle. So we're going to slow this down right here and stop. All right, right there. All right, so we want the elbow angle to be less than 90 degrees. The reason why is if it's greater than 90 degrees, now when you get beyond 90, your bicep is working pretty hard to pull your hand back up. We've all learned that 90 degrees is the optimal point for strength of the arm. Well, as you're running, you're trying to go forward. If it's less than 90 degrees, I mean, yeah, you're at 98 right there, maybe. Yeah, undo that. There we go. So 98, I mean, I probably drew that a little funky. Say 95. We want to be less than 90. We want your elbow bent really tight to your body. We want to keep your hand close to your chest. We want to make sure that your arms aren't doing anything to take away from forward motion. This is done by keeping your arms at a very tight angle, holding them close to your body. Let's see if we can't take a look at, clear that out. Let's look at you in slow-mo, and watch your arms. They're going to bob up and down pretty heavy. They're covering a lot of ground. It's going from, basically, you're going from your ribs to your navel. So we want to try and keep that as tight as possible. Make sure we're not doing any excess work and causing this to be a little more difficult. Think of it as turbulence in the water. We want the water to be as smooth as possible, and that way we don't have to work as hard to go forward. Anyway, in this video, it's 1 minute long. I counted 145 steps total. That's going to break down to about 72 steps each foot in a minute. We want to get that up to 90. 90 steps a minute is the best. It means that your stride is working at the best efficiency for your body. This has been studied over and over and over, which means we need to increase your step cadence. And we're going to increase your step cadence while increasing your step length. What that means is you're going to take more steps, you're going to take longer steps. What that means is you're going to, by default, run faster. So if you notice, all the goals here we have are based on form. All these goals that we isolate and we look towards improving, your speed will increase simply by increasing your form. So speed is a byproduct of good exercises, good angles, and good strategy as we go forward. So we're going to take that into account on the next couple of videos. We analyze, compare you to a couple other runners that have achieved these objectives that we have for you, and then we're going to go forward from there. Anyway, that's what I got for the third attempt at my first video with Tanner. On to the next video.